Hey, Ricky.
Medical response to 4th and Orange Street, 121 Medic 1. Respond to 4th and Orange Street for vehicle versus bike. 121 Medic 1, respond to 4th and Orange Street for vehicle versus bike. Unknown injuries at this time. Cross 3 Street, Chestnut and Orange on 2. Cambridge Street and 6 clear at 1545.
911-141 will respond from Station 1 to that call.
41 en route at 1545.
Most people would associate the words fire department and rescue as going into a burning building and bringing people out. While this is a true and accurate corollary, the number of times these calls come in and there is a rescue situation does not happen all that frequently. Every firefighter in the department is trained in rescue techniques for a multitude of emergencies. To enhance MFD's response and ability to resolve ever-increasingly complicated situations, the department has started a new rescue team. This team has had additional special training to help lead responding fire department members in the resolution of such high-risk, low-occurrence rescue situations.
Repeat traffic.
We had a chance to sit down and talk with firefighter Tavis Campbell, who was placed in a position to perform a fire rescue in the recent past.
The call came in initially as a vehicle fire. It was just a block away from the station, so we responded to that and we put the fire out. And as we were putting the fire out, we got paged out for a vehicle on fire and a structure fire. So we literally dropped the hose in the street and went a couple blocks to that fire. And as we're getting on scene, we actually passed a car that was burning and chose to attack the structure fire first.
How did the actual incident differ from the training you'd received?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't that much different because the day before we were in the burn tower and we were practicing doing dummy drags. So as the crew and I were doing the search into the building and I came upon the victim, it actually took a second for it to register that it wasn't a training exercise, and then everything was kind of business as normal. The most gratifying part of the experience was the crew and I, after the fire, got the opportunity to meet the mother and the fiance of the victim. They'd stopped by the station and just wanted to say thanks, and that was really neat. And then a couple weeks later, once the victim had got out of the hospital and recovered from the minor burns that he had, he stopped by the station and introduced himself and said thanks, and that was definitely a very gratifying experience.
Missoula, Montana. A frightened, freezing man floats in the middle of the icy Blackfoot River. He's atop his truck, and it's sinking. He fell asleep at the wheel and crashed atop an ice shelf. Just a few inches in either direction, and he would have drowned in the chilly waters.
If he were submerged in the water, he would not be able to survive more than a couple of minutes.
The man is dazed, scared, and nearly frozen to death. Rescuers have a boat and make their way over the hard ice pack.
He was a little bit scared and very cold. What he told me when we got close with the boat was, "Get me the heck off of here."
The man escaped drowning by climbing through a window. Now he's sopping wet. Rescuers must get to him before hypothermia gets him first.
That time of year, it's literally just minutes and you're unable to help yourself. Hypothermia just zaps your strength in a big hurry.
It's a hard push, but the rescue crew finally reaches the truck and get their man.
He was very fortunate to have landed in a shallow spot because he may not have gotten out.
The man cheats death and walks away with a souvenir, a ticket for reckless driving.
And I really wasn't quite sure what to expect when we got there, other than I knew we may have a victim in the water, but I knew conditions could change by the time we were dispatched and we arrived on scene. So, I just kind of left my options open and hope for the best and, plan for the worst. This rescue actually was a pretty easy rescue. There wasn't a lot of hazards involved other than the temperature in the water and the positioning of the vehicle. We try and practice scenarios that we may come across, and so I felt pretty confident in what we were doing and comfortable with the settings and our equipment, so I felt pretty prepared for it. I think all of us every day, that's one aspect of the job that we look forward to, and that kind of one of the reasons we're drawn to this profession is that we don't always know what we're going to get into every day. And so, I don't think it was anything unexpected. I think, that's why we like the profession we're in.
Well, I think it was about a year ago that our training has just stepped up to such a high level now that I believe that the firemen are asked to be so diverse in so many different skills that no one firefighter could know it all. So at that time we thought, well, let's break this down and have the most training intense disciplines in one category, then we'll assign a rescue team to that, where we could get these 20 individuals and give them intense training on these scenarios. So not only could they train other firefighters in those disciplines, but they could also play the team role, team leader role, or operations chief in these rescue situations. We have 6 different disciplines right now. First one would be high angle. That's basically rope rescue, to where the firefighters would rappel from an area to get a victim that was maybe someplace where you could just walk up and grab him. And part of that skill would be loading the individual into a litter and then raising them to a safe area. Confined space rescue, which would be, for instance, a manhole, a worker down in the manhole that came incapacitated and couldn't get out of his own. And there's all kinds of special skills, air quality and things like that down this hole that we have to monitor to make that a safe operation. Extrication, vehicle extrication, which is car accident to where the victims can't get out on their own and we can't open the doors, to where we end up cutting the roof off or using the jaws of life to open up the doors or whatever we have to do. Next one would be the trench collapse skill. With all the new construction going on in Missoula, we have a lot of open trenches, and sometimes if we have a cave in, we'll have an individual that might be trapped in the trench. Along with that, we're learning skills on structure collapse. In case one of the large buildings go down, we have the capabilities of getting those victims freed with airbags and different tools to free those individuals. Water rescue, we have boat-based water rescue with our jet boat down in McCormick Park in the boathouse, and we also have a 14-foot cataract that works well in low water conditions and also ice. And with the ice rescue and water rescue as well, we have dry suits, throw ropes, life jackets, helmets, and all the safety equipment to send the tethered rescuer out. So firemen actually hooked up to a line with a shore crew, and they can go out and make the rescue and then be hauled in if necessary by the shore crew. So there's a lot of things that we do with the water and ice rescue. And the last one would be the wilderness rescue, where a victim goes down and we can't just pull up with the ambulance, so we have to hike in some areas and get that victim out by hand. So that would be called the wilderness.
Help me! Help me! What are you
a jet boat's a great tool. Our Station 2 location makes it a quick jaunt for those 3 firefighters to respond to the jet boat, get it out of the boathouse and be on the river in just minutes. And that's a real nice tool to have. I mean, when you can go up and down the river at 20, 25 miles an hour looking for victims, that's a huge boon for our department. And then if you put in a helicopter aircraft in this scenario, that makes finding your victims happen very quickly. Well, over the years, I think a real typical water rescue scenario would be 2 inexperienced people with a large dog in a canoe. Water might be a little too high for their skill level. They dump their boat, and of course, everybody has a cell phone anymore, and the call will come in for water rescue people in the river. We'll do our full response with 2 engines and a truck company, battalion chief, and end up finding the people in different areas on shore. Somebody might get out on the south shore and somebody else downstream a quarter mile, so it's a matter of gathering up all the people that were in that craft.
No, I don't feel any different than anybody else. We all know coming into work that any sort of incident on any given day can happen, but I do feel, obviously lucky to have been involved in that sort of rescue.
Obviously, that the victim, made it off the vehicle fine and that he didn't have any injuries. And that we were able to, make a difference in his day. I think that the tools and the training that we had enabled us to be able to make it a pretty safe, effective, and easy rescue.